Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Alan is still missing, but our hero's ambush of the Unseen Hand was ultimately successful. Then again, can the damage to the town be repaired? How can they free Neverwinter from the Unseen Hand's military forces? Will Bucky slaughter all the surrendering enemies before they can even be interrogated? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
So you have a night in a tree.
Yeah, we gotta go help him down. Bucky points at Charstringer. Bucky's like, no, don't. It's fine. We need someone.
The last two were real spooky.
I'm in initiative. So having successfully and violently murdered everyone, you've successfully rescued Bucky and a number of Loyalist Greywater mercs. And you now have access to A, a bunch of Greywater uniforms, and B, the 3 prison carts.
Awesome. So I'd say right now, what we would probably do this day is heal up as many people as we can. Yeah. I'd revivify as many people as I can. And then I'm imagining we'd spend at least the night repairing town / fixing up the wagons so they look right. Because, I mean, one's full of bullet holes. We probably got to cut our losses on number 1.
Yeah.
But 2 and 3.
Oh, no, it's been smashed to cinters when I body slammed the Minotaur into it.
Oh, that was 2.
3 is completely untouched.
3 is untouched, and we'll see what we can do to 1.
Raises a hand and says, I know a spell called Mending that allows me to magically repair things.
Okay, then we want Bucky to fix 1 and 2.
And I assume all their fields and stuff were gone and burned and all that shit, right?
What
around the town?
Around Fandom? Yeah,
realistically.
Okay, so I would like to spend 8 hours performing plant growth, where basically within a half-mile radius, I can enrich the land. It enriches the land for a year. So, enough to get them back on their feet, and the plants yield twice the amount of food.
Oh, man.
Which is great because they have half the number of people.
I like to imagine
that's great.
That's a montage of you just running through the fields, throwing seeds in the air.
Yes, it's
Old
very...
Johnny Appleseed on them.
There's just flowers flying around me, and I'm just running around looking like an idiot. But it's very joyful.
While she's doing that, we're going to be fixing up the wagons. In wagon 2, the one that had the big empty inside, we're going to transport the Gatling gun.
Why don't we just drive the wagon up into us? It's like an Italian job situation of just a wagon holding another wagon.
But is that allowable,
an escape vehicle?
Wagonception.
Yeah.
Before the puns, no, but at this point, it's one weird fucking turducken full of guns.
All right, so we have the gun ducking. I think if we're going to take one volunteer from the town, sadly, it's got to be that little girl.
No, she's badass AF. She absolutely will get the job
I think what
done.
we're going to do is, I don't know how Jim's doing. Is he okay?
I mean, he's pretty rough, but he's all right.
Yeah, so I think temporarily we're going to shift Nundrin and Gundren to the sword squad, and we'll let the little girl be in charge of the roofs. So they'll stay for their own defense. We'll arm all the Greywater people that we have, because I'm imagining they're going to be ready to turn Greywater back to good. So they're going to be our prisoner ambush. So we'll give them whatever weapons and other stuff we could get from the rest.
Isn't it just one dude who was in the tree?
No, prisoners. We don't know who was in
those
A.
guys. Yeah, okay.
Any of the other prisoners will go with us. The guy in the tree we sort of got to interrogate to find out what the hell's going on back at Neverwinter, because they're just parked out front, right?
For posterity, I'm rolling some hit dice in the downtime.
We'll spend the day getting everything put together. We'll wake up the next day, and then we'll figure out what our plan is.
You take a much needed and much well-deserved rest. You all sleep very well. You're able to recover hit points spent. You're able to recover spells you've used. And the next day, you set about coming up with your plan. So you've got the knight who is in custody. The townsfolk are busy enjoying the rapidly growing vegetation, which is very strange. But, at this point, strange is kind of par for the course. Bucky is using mending to fix the wagon, and Yevgenovich is watching, taking notes, assuming that just by touching metal, it will fix itself. So he's like, I can do this in the future. I know how now.
Bucky's not correcting him. It's important for you to believe in yourself.
Annan is touring facility and picking up slack and figuring out if the town survives, how best to sort of reset up the Temple of Moonhammer and gift shop. So what would you guys like to do?
I think we've got the Waterdeep guys. We've geared them up. We got everything in place. I need to interrogate the Greywater guy to figure out where the hell we're going to try to deal with this.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want in on that?
Traditionally, I do good cop, bad cop. And
I could assist.
Juniper, you're terrifying cop. So I think, you should help me with that one for sure.
And Polko, you going to get in the room too, since this is one of your former brothers in arms?
Yeah, I think so. But it might be one of those things where if there's a two-sided window mirror type situation, I might want to listen in so I can determine what he's lying about and what he's telling the truth about.
Right,
and
so you're going to be like the angry police chief who nods or shakes their head?
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Van Buren back behind the glass.
Damn right you are. All right, great.
Being like, come back with a warrant.
So he's the chief, and then the chief secretary is Quinny. So
Getting too old for this shit.
if this is Brooklyn Nine-Nine terms, Quinny's just our Gina.
I mean, if we're going to have a stenographer taking notes, it would definitely be Bucky. He'd be so thrilled.
He's our Boyle.
He's going to Santiago that shit.
He's definitely our boy.
Aw, guys, did we make Brooklyn Nine-Nine by accident? Because if so, I am
Our Santiago's been possessed by a demon and disappeared.
Yeah, now she's a Rosa.
So I think if we want to do the interrogation, we could do it at the temple maybe and set it up so we can do like trick lighting with thaumaturgy and shit so that you guys, Polka and Quinny, could be in the back room and we just do all front light so you can't see anything behind it if you're sitting in the interrogation chair.
There are 4 lights.
Yeah. So we can go in and do the interrogation and then go into the back room and like close the door and talk about what's happening that you guys can see and hear without being seen.
So you move in there and you move around some of the goblin injection site chairs and just clean up some of the corpses. Blue goo everywhere, kind of adds to the ambience. You drag the knight in, you strap him to a chair, and then you thaumaturgically blind him with 4 lights.
I'll be up front so I can come in. Yeah. So
and to be clear, I blind him with 3 lights. That's the trick.
Tell him how many lights there are.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Love it. These are Star Trek jokes, Tyler.
I vaguely get that. I remember people saying there are 4 lights and voices under duress before.
So that's all set up.
So I walk in. I'm still in my full gear. I take a stool. I bring Goblin Jr. in with me because he's always there. And I'm like, well, we know you're legally allowed to have an emotional support animal. So Goblin Jr. sits on one side and I put my stool down. I'm like, what's your name?
My name is Harry Beecher.
It's a good name, Harry.
Totally believable. That's 100% your actual physical name.
I hear that voice whisper through like it's a thaumaturgical intercom where you can chime in. Well, you know, if coming from a guy named Butthole Farts, I can't really judge anybody based on name quality. So, Harry, what's going on, man? Why are you coming through? You got an ambush set up and everything? Giant Minotaur in a bin? Seems like a lot for the number of prisoners you guys were taking.
It wasn't about the prisoners. It was about you. You, me too, told us that you'd taken back Fandolin. We were supposed to Trojan horse our way in, you know, from that famous Faerun myth of Troy.
Yeah. Troy, the really pissed off halfling who wanted revenge by hiding inside a cake.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Oh, that's where I got that from. I knew. See, I always forget the books I read, and then I remember. Enough about me. Back to the questions. So, obviously, you fucked that up. Now, I don't know what's going on with this. Are you going to be in trouble if we were to let you go back?
Potatoes will be furious to hear that 2 of his fries are dead. I can't believe you killed them. The fries are supposed to be unstoppable.
And well, it turns out they're not that unstoppable. So what exactly is the setup with Potatoes right now?
You want to roll me a check of some sort?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Persuasion. I'm like, come on, we got to figure this out. We're all partners. You know, I was in Greywater before, and I flashed him the hand sign again. That would be an 8.
He also rolled an 8. It's like, that's a really old hand sign, man. You may have been part of the outfit, but that was a long time ago.
I'm an old timer. That's the whole deal. So clearly you got some injuries. I mean, they may not be severe, but you know how that's going to happen with blue goo and goblin corpses. Like, it's probably not ideal for you to just be left in here for a couple hours. Let's maybe make a trade. You know, you tell me what's going on with the Commander Potatoes and everybody and where they're situated. Maybe I can heal up those wounds for you.
I did get stuck in a tree. I don't think I've got good combat ability here, so...
Yeah, Prinduncle did not do you any favors. Remember, we're the villains. We didn't hit you that hard for your story. Your own team did.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Fuck that. He gets a little more comfortable, and he's like, all right, well, as long as you can assure me of my safety, you'll heal me up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The Unseen Hand is in the process of handing Neverwinter over to Greywater. Commander's finally making good on his promise.
What promise was that?
Well, I mean, I guess you're an old-timer. He promised us a place of our own, and that's what he's building.
You all want to settle down?
Look, man, the world's changing. It's getting harder out there for a mercenary corporation. Everything we believed in, everything we fought for is gone. Have you seen what's happening? The nation of Akka is rolling over Faerun. Anyway, the commander is taking over Neverwinter. We're going to turn it into something better.
You think they're going to let you have Neverwinter? The whole goal of the Greywater Syndicate, I mean, and then I hit my thaumaturgical button, and I'm like, Captain, we know the deal. Greywater was about make some money, don't get pinned down. People who get pinned down get killed by people like Greywater. Correct?
That's correct.
I take the button off. I'm like, that was the deal. You just setting yourself up to get fucking killed.
Look, man, I don't call the shots. I just take him.
So you're like cool with this? Getting beat up and then getting pinned down where you're going to die?
I'm not cool about it, but I mean, what the fuck am I going to do? Do you see what happened to me with that Minotaur? He's got a whole squad of fries. I mean, what the commander says goes. And honestly, what he said sounded pretty reasonable. I mean, I miss getting paid. I mean, that's kind of what we're about. But again, it's just my job to follow orders.
See, this is really disappointing to hear. So they're in Neverwinter now, or when is it getting handed over?
So he explains that in the next few days, the Unseen Hand is going to hand over Neverwinter to the Greywater Syndicate. It seems whatever they came to the town for, they have secured. The one condition is that they leave the cloak tower to the unseen hand. But yes, Commander Potatoes will have full control of the city in a few days. They're doing a big ceremony to hand it over to him. They're going to unveil the big statue of the god of war they've erected in the center of town.
My balls shrivel up into my body as I hear the phrase god of war. Who's doing the handoff?
I don't know, some unseen hand bigwig.
So you're just going to take a brutalized population to be the new brutalizers? That's Potatoes' plan? Is he getting paid at least?
No, he's not getting paid.
So he's just taking a managerial position full of administration with no payment?
Well, no. Like it's going to be our town.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I'm just going to go walk into the back office. I close the door so he can't hear me. Look, what the fuck am I supposed to be asking this guy? He just sounds like an idiot.
It doesn't sound like he knows very much, unless he knows the tactical disposition of the Greywater forces.
Yeah, I can probably get him to draw us a map or some shit of that, or like what's going on in Neverwinter.
In terms of their motivations, he's clearly on the outside. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on or why they're doing it.
Quinny, am I missing anything off the top of your head? Don't say kill him, I know.
No, I know. I think I'm starting to get the hang of some of this power that I've got. I could probably weaken his resolve if you want to get more out of him.
Well, I'm just like, what do we want to get? I'm literally out of... His answers all check out. Like, I don't think he's lying about any of this.
Yeah, then maybe we don't need to put him to the screws or anything. You want to know why they're doing it, and so far the reson why it doesn't make sense.
Well, they're being given a city. That's it. It's sort of self-intrinsic. If they've given up on being a mercenary company, then congratulations. I'm trying to think of
a conquering regime now.
Yeah, great. You're the Tingler family. Like, congratulations. You've gone from being a relatively good group of mercenaries to terrifying dictators who are going to have to enforce the rule through murder. So I think I'll just get us the map of shit. We need to know where they are and what positions. The setup is.
I'd like to know, I mean, maybe you guys can even tell me this, but I'd like to know more about the Fries, a four-armed dude and a smelly wizard was kind of a nasty surprise.
Yeah, and Prindunkles is just a mascot, so shit, he's a fry. Yeah, okay.
I'll get lieutenants, maybe? I don't know.
I'll get us a list of the Fries and what he knows about the Fries and a map. And if he starts fucking around at all...
Wait. Ask him for the map, and then ask if you can have fries with that.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I open the back door, and I walk back in, and I pull up my stool again. And I say, look, see, the animal's still here. We're following the rules. And Gobbledygoo's like, snarf, snarf, and just like rubs his hand and pretends to be supportive. I need you to draw me a map of where everything's laid out in Neverwinter and where the troops are located and what's going on with the Unseen Hand and the Greywater Syndicate. And then I want some fries with that. And I'm like, yeah?
I can supersize that for you.
Oh, you're the man. Okay, good. Because, yeah, I need a list of the Fries and what their abilities are and that kind of stuff and what they're up to.
Look, I can give you a bit of that, but again, I'm low down the ladder here, man. You're talking to me like I'm Commander Potatoes himself.
See, this starts sounding like you're really pushing back against what I want.
No, I'm going to draw you a map. I will do what I can, but like...
Quinny outside the room, can you just check to see if this guy's lying?
You're on thaumaturgical mic with the captain, right?
Yeah.
All right, all out.
What's that going to be? Insight as opposed to investigation? So that's just a 4.
I mean, he is saying words.
Yeah, no, that sounds true.
So here's the deal. I think you're telling the truth, but there's only one way to know for sure. And I take out my Forsaken helmet with the beholder on the front. I'm like, this is a magical helmet. And I know you guys can hear me in the room. And I'm like, when I put this on, it's going to sound like a spirit is walking into this room and you're going to feel that spirit going into your mind. Now, you don't fight it and you show it that you're telling the truth, because if you're lying, it'll know. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to put my helmet on in 3, 2, 1. Look into the eyes of the beholder.
Medallion of thought. Cast detect thoughts.
He's really worried about surviving this.
Right, okay.
And yeah, he's trying to visualize a map. He's trying to think of everything he knows about the Fries.
Okay, I'm going to probe deeper.
Don't resist the beholder. Look into the eyes of Kaklak.
So that is 12.
Yeah, I mean, again, emotionally, his entire unit was just wiped out. The Fries are the scariest things he knows, and 2 of them are dead.
So I look over at Quinny over his shoulder, and I'm like, keep looking into the beholder. And I give him those eyes that are saying, am I done? Do we stop the bit?
Yeah, Quinny's like, gives you the thumbs up.
Excellent. As I take off my helmet, you will think you hear the sound of a spirit leaving the room through the back door, and I pull the helmet off.
Look, I saw the halfling. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, basically. He read your mind and said you're good. So draw the map and write out a list of Fries. And I give him the stuff to do that. I'm like, Goblin Jr., keep being supportive. And then I go and I open the front door and I walk around the corner to see what Juniper looks like.
I'm just waiting here. Do you need me?
Here's the deal. He was actually pretty pleasant. So we already did a mind confirmation. You can just be nice. We don't have to be scary anymore. So
okay.
You can keep hanging out as Echo.
J-pop nightmare child for nothing.
You can keep hanging out as Echo. Like, that's fine. We like Echo.
Well, just until you know you don't need me anymore.
Okay, do you want to like play some dice while we're waiting?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to play dice with Echo while we wait for him to draw a map and make a list.
By the way, I'm like a small halfling child.
And you're the bad cop / heavy in this situation?
She came in as like a terrifying J-pop creature and stuck a knife in a guy's neck and threatened to kill him last time singing a song. So she's our official bad cop.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, so we're playing dice, and then when we hear that he yells it's done, we'll go check it out.
Yep, so finishes it up rather quickly. So here are a few things in terms of the information. Polka and Butthole, can you each roll me an investigation check, please?
Sure.
Is there any way I can spin this into insight by using my gut instead of my brain?
No.
Okay.
Ten.
3.
It's not a great map, and the details are kind of sparse. You really do get the sense that this guy, he's a good fighter, but he's pretty far down the chain of command. But he's able to draw a very accurate map of the patrols leading to Neverwinter, so you've got a really good sense of who's coming and going. It seems that every few days there's another prison transport taking prisoners down the coast. It seems they've got a processing facility down there. They're shipping a lot of them out. So they've got that to the south. To the north, the garrison was located just outside of Neverwinter. It's now moved into the city. There's still a major checkpoint at the southern gate into Neverwinter. However, he is able to give you the gate codes that he uses for the past little while. He says they change pretty much every 3 weeks, but they're on midway through a rotation. So as long as you're not waiting a month, you should be fine. In terms of the fries, he obviously knows about the 2 that you killed. He also warns you about 2 more. One is a bit of a trickster. He's very intense, and no one really ever knows what he's going to do. His name is Chicolas Nage, who, of course, is never seen without his pet owl, John Travawl.
Very good.
Yumi 2, obviously, who he doesn't actually know that much about. He just sees him coming and going. I think in Star Wars terms, it would be a bit like if you were a low-ranking stormtrooper on a different Star Destroyer and you knew of Darth Vader, but you don't see Darth Vader all the time. He's just around. The only other one that he knows of that's on site, who is kind of a mysterious figure, not many people know much about him. His name is Chad Underbottom. And Chad Underbottom is in a lot of ways the scariest of them because he just looks just a regular guy. Like he's just like a guy in just a nice button-up shirt. Just really very generic looking. And that means that everyone lives in constant fear because no one knows what he does.
I see.
He's very friendly. So those are the fries who are on site. A few of them are on missions around the globe. There are other contingents of Greywater that are not in Neverwinter. However, those don't necessarily seem to be associated with Commander Potato's mission. He mentions that within Greywater currently, and certainly Polka can attest to this, there is some dissension in the ranks about Commander Potato's current line of thinking. But again, they follow the chain of command, and with the fries, there's not much they can do on site.
I honestly think that if we removed Yumi 2 and maybe a couple of the other fries, I think a lot of guys in the rank and file will turn.
Well, I mean, in any of the graybeards or old timers, I mean, I'll be able to talk to them because they'll know me. Like, I saved a shitload of their lives. All right, so this is awkward. We're going to have to, like, build a jail or something for you.
Or you could just let me go. I'll just leave.
You seem to be really pro Neverwinter, though, so I'm worried you're going to turn around and want to join the city, which sort of screws us.
Look, I want to be part of that, but honestly, if I return and no one else does, they're going to wonder why.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think we can be very realistic with this and really nice. So there's 2 people in town that we sort of have some trust in. Uncle Jim and Alfie. We're going to get
Not the second name I thought you were going to choose.
We're going to shackle you up a little bit. Because, I mean, you did some damage to this town.
Did I?
Yeah, with all the shooting and everything.
I mean, they did some damage to the town. I didn't.
Yeah, but we won the battle. And as you know, you get to rewrite history. So as far as I know, you fired a chain gun into the town square a lot.
That checks out. I mean, that's just...
So what's going to happen
if the
is...
chief says so.
We're going to let you work it off with them. Help out around town. Help them get their rum shack up and running. And when they feel like you're good to go, you're good to go. It won't be that long. Jim's a pretty honest dwarf.
I mean, I don't see that I have much of a choice.
I think they'll let you go within a week or 2, and that'll give us enough time that we're not scared of you fucking with us. So everybody wins.
I tug butthole. I kind of tug your shirt and I was like...
Yeah, don't tug my butthole.
And I just say, do you want me to make sure he doesn't escape?
Okay, wait, what? What's all this now? Hey, no, wait, is this like that crazy girl on top of the building with a gun?
Yeah, it's in that spirit.
Oh,
yeah, we have a
no.
couple of them. I'm going to be honest. Do you know what? We're going to let you go, but this is what you need to know on the road, and you fucking tell them. There is an army of psychotic underage girls inside this town, and if anybody fucking comes to Phandalin, they're gonna fucking die.
You know what? Based on my experience of Phandalin, yes.
Perfect. And I unshackle them like, we're keeping your gear as an asshole tax. Now get out there and you tell them all that she'll kill you because there's so many of them. There's her and then more, and they'll fuck you up, right, Echo?
Harry, if you try to escape,
oh my God,
we will definitely decapitate you.
I unshackle him and he runs.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, he's like out the door, and it's one of those like hilarious in a movie where someone scares someone. He's like, "Whoa!" and he's booking it.
Leaves a hairy-shaped imprint in the wall as he busts through it. Yeah.
I reached down for a tiny high five from Echo.
Oh, thanks.
All right, you did good, kid. All right, we got to figure out our plan though. So why don't you bring Juniper back? She seems to be more the road type.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So she goes to change, and I bring in the walking table. And then we can all sit around the walking table to make our plan.
So, Polka, you know that Yumi 2 is a master sword fighter, but kind of in the ninja-y way, where he's been known to incorporate magic into his sword play.
Ooh.
In terms of the other fries, Chicolas Nage is a chaos mage.
Chicolas Nage, the chaos mage.
Yep. That's how he picked his profession as a child. He went through career services, and he's like, but only if it rhymes.
Rhyming is important.
Harry Beecher is a mystery. I don't know.
You mean Chad Underbottom?
Sorry, yes.
Harry Beecher, I think, is pretty well known. At this point.
He's
no
a
mystery there.
noted coward and incompetent.
Chad Underbottom is...
Big question mark.
Yeah, he honestly just dresses like a Mormon.
Getting a real Pete from Deadpool 2 vibe off of him.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so you've got some time in town. What do you want to do?
One last thing about what we just learned there. They're shipping people out somewhere to like a processing facility down to the south. What are they doing with them there?
Just escaped from a foreign prison. There's weird cloning stuff going on. They're pumping people full of steroids in this town. I'm very worried about what they're doing to people.
Do we want to go down there and bust up that operation and maybe free some people who will help us get into Neverwinter?
Here's our challenge. We've got 2 ways we can go about this. How long is it to the prison? I'm assuming the map shows us, Tom.
There are ways down the coast, probably a few days on the road.
But the trade over in town is happening in a week, I think you said?
Yep.
So we sort of have 2 options, which is we can try to bust up the handover of Neverwinter and maybe get a shot at the unseen hand agent as well and try to stop Commander Potatoes from putting himself in charge. Or we go to the prison and bring the prison people with us there, but we won't get a shot at the unseen hand person necessarily.
I will also point out that if you do want to attempt multiple things, and this is just kind of an interesting campaign note to you guys, as we start to move into the larger phases of the war, similar to when Assassin's Creed or Mass Effect started giving you side missions you could send people on. If you want to assign a team to go do that for you, we'll roll some dice and see how effective they are. But for example, if you want to send Bucky, Annan, Yevgenovich, you could do that. You could call the airship for backup. There are a few things you can do if you so desire, or you can go in person.
Because I don't think we have time to do both. Does that make sense?
Cutting it
If we
close.
sent another team in the airship, they might have enough time to join us.
They might be able to bring in the cavalry if they get lucky, and I'd be on board for that. I think Paladin von Strauss for an unjust prison break. He had a bad time in the last prison because he gave up his shit, but I don't think that would happen again. We could send Bucky. We'll send Nundrin and Gundren because they're pretty good at like mining and busting down walls. We send the Greywater guys to make it look Greywater. And then they'll team up with Paladin von Strauss and the airship can do it. So we can send them out to the airship and then we'll take the rest, just enough to like hide us to get us into Neverwinter. That's the game plan. We feel good about that. They'll bring as many of the good guys as they can in whatever way they can come up with on the way back. Also, I know we have Yevgenovich. Do we want Annan or should we send Annan to maybe be the strategist of Team Prison Break?
Yeah, Annan seems like a really good tactician.
So we'll send Annan with Team Prison Break, but we'll keep Yevgenovich to man the guns with us.
He's a good wild card.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
And then for those of us moving forwards, if we're worried about the prison situation, we can see what the prisoner convoys look like on their way past us. Because if they're looking a little soft, we can turn around and pick up those prisoners on the way.
Yeah, I've got an idea for rigging some manacles to appear to be locked, but I think I can file down the catch so that a little twist of the wrist and they can just pop off.
Perfect. Then we have it for a high-risk scenario.
Chewbacca gambit.
Yeah, I'd hope we could just walk through, but if we can't, sold. All right, does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, that works.
Spend a day getting the manacles, getting the people ready, and we'll head out tonight, hit the road.
Perfect.
Game on.
Limited time engagement here. We got to get it done before the trade-off.
Yeah, praise Moonhammer, fuck Timothy Dalton. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Having dispatched your team to the south, you load up the wagon and start rolling north towards Neverwinter.
Yeah, we're going to have claimed as many of the uniforms and stuff as we could from the dead guys, so we've sort of refaked it. We put the knight's armor on 2 of our Greywater guys so that we've got like the right number of people sitting. I imagine for our barbarians, we probably put you, Polka, inside
Where the Minotaur was.
the Winception
Yeah.
van. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
we can put the Winnebago in there, and then you can shake it and make Minotaur noises if we need them.
Roar. Or
Probably put Quinny and myself up on the front driving it, just because Quinny can throw up an energy shield if we need to.
I can?
I don't know what the fuck your powers are, but you're wizardy. No, you want to be inside?
No, man, I can't do that.
All right. Quinny's inside, and I will stop making
Good
assumptions.
thing the adventure didn't hinge on that. That could have been real bad.
So then I'll sit up at front with Juniper or whoever Juniper would like to become for this purpose of the ride.
I'm just going to be Juniper for this part.
Great. So we're in gray water uniforms up front knowing the signals.
Cool. So you start rolling north. The road is very difficult. Seems some asshole dug a bunch of holes and left a bunch of rocks and sticks and trees and logs.
what a jerk.
Yeah, and I don't know who it is, so I just keep swearing.
So you have to spend some time clearing that. Unfortunately, it does slow your progress quite a bit. You don't encounter any other prison transports en route. After a couple days worth of travel, you arrive at Neverwinter. Is there anything you want to talk about on the road?
I feel like I'd be talking with Juniper just to find out a little bit more about her life and what's been going on. And I imagine we probably put Quinny in with Polka.
Yeah.
So
someone's got to be driving the cart.
So up front with Juniper, I'd be sharing my story. You know me, I probably spent an entire 2 days telling my whole life story before I ask a single question. So she knows everything about everything, except I wouldn't say too much about Manny.
Okay.
In the first 2 days. I'd share everybody else's information, and then I'd start asking her about her. And then depending on what she shares, then I'd decide whether or not to talk about Manny.
Juniper, do you tell Butthole much?
I mean, you kind of know where I'm from.
No, you said somewhere mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, my people, changelings, not that common. A lot of people don't really like us that much.
That's weird.
Well, I mean, because we could look like anyone.
Can you look like me? I've always wanted to know what I look like to somebody else. Like, not like in a mirror where it's all backwards, but
I can get pretty close, and I changed my appearance. But I'm gonna stay like Juniper size so that I don't like bust my armor.
I'm smaller than I
Juniper's
thought.
a big lady, though, right?
She's 5'4".
Oh, she's just strong, but she's not.
Yeah, she's very, very muscular.
Only in comparison to like the tiny anime child that she is sometimes.
Yes.
She's much larger than that.
Tom, how close to me does she look? What am I seeing? Or do you need a performance check, or how does this work for how good?
Yeah, I don't know. How does changeling?
It just changed my appearance. Really?
Does it?
So what do you look like then?
I look like a reflection of you.
Oh, God damn it! No, I said I need to know exactly what I look
exactly
like.
what you look like.
I see myself in the mirror all the time, but I want to get like the vibe.
Okay, let me try again. Takes a little bit more concentration to do this though.
Now
Do you do that weird thing where like you make like a sound like as you're changing?
Flesh reforms.
Yeah, what does it look like to see you change? Because I've never seen you change before.
So it's basically imagine flesh kind of becoming a bit amorphous, and it's going to slowly change. Like it doesn't go into my natural form, but it'll just slowly morph from like my features into buttholes.
I think when you try it again, you accidentally end up looking more like Reginald. You don't know who that is, but
Me no like. Let's go back to Juniper. That one's a little spooky. Why are you out in the world? I mean, you got that blank piece of paper that you say there's a prophecy on. Like, what's the prophecy telling you? You got to work with us?
Yeah.
What happens if you don't do the prophecy? You're like, forget it.
Well-
burn the paper.
I mean, there's a chance that the world could turn to darkness forever.
What's the over under on that?
I don't
kind of the
know.
line on that.
I don't know.
Do you have to complete the prophecy or just follow?
I have to complete it, but it only gives me one line at a time. So right now I'm helping you.
That's pretty trippy.
Have you ever heard of the Great Collide?
you roll me a history check.
1, but not natural. I rolled a 2.
You have not.
No, I have no idea what
It's
that is.
just-
Is that where your butt, like when you're farting, your
No.
butt cheeks flap and then the great collides in the middle?
No. This is like worldwide. This is crazy. No one knows about it.
So what is it?
It's a time of great change, kind of upheaval of the world, and it'll either turn out really great or really bad.
So it's right now.
I think so.
Ooh, that's pretty high stakes.
And I'm just supposed to be helping the world prepare for it however I can. And right now that means helping you.
Well, I'm glad you're on the team. But what if it suddenly said, like, kill these guys?
Kill you guys?
Yeah, what if it suddenly said that?
Well,
I don't mean to sound paranoid, but after a certain point when all of your friends have made pacts with dark gods you don't understand, you really start to wonder about what happens with new friends.
I can hear you up there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't think it'll say that.
But what if it did?
Then it would be for the greater good.
So you do it.
You feel a bright tingle in your pocket where you hold the prophecy.
Just give me a minute, all right? I'll get back to you on that. I pull out the scroll.
It just has an ellipsis.
I mean,
It's in Times New Roman font. I can't see it, but I know that.
it hasn't told me to kill you yet.
That really draws a line there.
I just want to say, like, I can make you a promise that if it tells me to kill you, I'll show you and we'll talk about it.
Okay, that's a pretty reasonable promise. I'm less creeped out now.
I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill anyone.
That's what a lot of people say, but then they start promising things to sort of demons. And this is the thing, Juniper. I deal with people through my whole life who've just been partnering with things they don't understand, and then they keep doing what that thing says, then it bites them in the ass. So all I'm saying is you got to look into the prophecy and where it starts. Whose prophecy? Why does it have to be you who does it? What exactly are the consequences and what are the terms of the agreement? Everyone's just making these agreements and not reading the fine print. Sure, it's 7 or 8 pages and nobody else reads it on their agreement. But until you don't know what you're agreeing to. Maybe they could take their whole powers back or just require you to kill everybody. What if you're the bad side of the Great Collide?
I think we can assume that if I'm supposed to help you and you seem to be fighting for the light, that this prophecy wants the good to come out of this.
Here's one thing I've learned in my whole life. Always look a gift horse right in that mouth. Immediately.
Smash cut to inside the prison wagon. So Quinny and Polka, you guys have been listening to this whole conversation, but also you've been doing something else this whole time. What have you guys been doing to pass the time in the cart?
Play some cards?
No, obviously I want to play some cards.
Right.
For money. Let's make that clear. We're gambling.
Sure, yeah, I don't have any money, so this will be nice for me.
Oh, that's less appealing then.
No, I mean, I'll owe you if I lose.
That's what was said on the first day. On the second day, I've agreed to stake Quinny.
Now we're talking. All right, yeah, let's get it.
By the third day, Yevgenovich has that little like dealer's hat going. Ladies and gentlemen, the game is Faerun, Holden, pass him. He doesn't know the rules at all. You just kind of let him shuffle his own deck, and he keeps passing it out, and you just ignore his cards.
It's like the unplugged controller for your little brother.
That's 100% the unplugged controller for your little brother.
Okay, great.
All right, so I need both of you to roll me a dice to see who wins. How much gold are you staking on this?
I mean,
How much did you give me?
I'll give you 500.
How many days in are we?
Day 3, possibly a 4.
All right, so I'm going to bet 300 then.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah, you guys are even. You've been playing for 3 days. This is where the stakes get high.
So we've been ramping up, and now we're at the culmination of the ramp up, and this is it. Okay, let's do it.
Die fell out of my hand, but that counts as a die roll. I just want to clear with you. I'm adding my proficiency because I'm proficient with cards.
Are you kidding me? Well, this is some grade A bullshit right here.
But go
I'm
ahead.
rolling the dice anyway. I think I rolled the same thing he did.
Yeah, so
but I
12 on
don't
the
have
die,
a proficiency
plus
to
my
cards.
3.
What do I add to this? I need to add something. Athletics. This is a very athletic card game.
Slam those cards
Yeah, that's
down.
right.
I'll let you add wisdom or intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Those aren't great for me. That's a total of 16.
Yeah, that's 14 for me.
So Quinny wins the first hand. We'll say best of 3.
Okay,
so,
cool. 12.
23.
Yeah.
This is why Quinny's been betting so little. He's just been like
I'm getting
card
sharked.
sharking you. Yeah. You're playing cards with a rogue.
Oh, yeah, I really shouldn't be doing that. I think it's a halfling wizard thing. You shouldn't be good at this.
So go ahead.
Uh-oh. Not as
18?
good. Oh, yeah, you win that last
Oh,
hand.
there we go. And if we're doing a ramp up, as we had discussed,
Yep.
looks like I've been sharking you.
Well done.
Oh, there you go.
Game recognized game.
So like up top, there's this horrible conversation about soul selling, blah, blah, blah. You guys are just having a great time. Just
Gambling.
pals. So I'm going to give card playing guys a point of inspiration each.
Nice.
Sweet.
For becoming pals, playing cards. Nice. There's a bit of a camaraderie there now. So you have higher odds of earning further inspiration if you do things to assist each other in combat.
Easy.
All right, fun.
So on the 4th day, the carts start to approach the checkpoint at the southern gate to Neverwinter. As you approach, you can see that outside the gate, there are large banners of the unseen hand that are unfurled. You can see people are in the process of turning those over and hanging gray water banners in their place. There's some commotion around the gate. There's a lot of displaced peasants and stuff. You can see a lot of people have been kicked out of town. So there's a weird tent city that's established outside. However, as they see you approaching, they wave to slow down, but it's definitely they're shoving people out of the way and kind of making room for the carts. And so a couple of guards walk up and greet. Who's driving right now?
Be myself and Juniper.
Transport's back.
Oh, yeah.
How'd the ambush go?
That went pretty well. Yeah, we got a couple of extras down below.
Can I see the heads? You brought the heads, right?
Oh, we brought the whole people, baby. You want to show those unseen hand what's getting done? You got to bring them in alive.
Yeah, man. I hear that.
It's raiding on expert mode.
Great. So can you roll me a deception check, please?
Do I have advantage because I know the hand gestures
Yeah,
and stuff? Yeah.
It'll give you advantage based on just all the prep and shit that you guys put into this.
Deception was 17.
Beats his 4. So he kind of nods and he waves you through. So you roll up to the gate and you hear, hang on. Sorry, 1 minute there. And looking over, you see a very smiley man striding over to you, dressed in a plain white button-up and slacks. Hi, I'm Chad Underbottom. I just wanted to, check the carts before you go in. Make sure everything's all on the level. Okay there, pal?
Absolutely. Listen, we got people down below. They're all shackled up. The only one I would suggest you not go into, not because you can't, but just Prinduncle sort of got hurt and is really pissed off about how the whole thing went down.
Got a little boo-boo? Oh, I don't care for that much. I better go check on him.
Oh, no. Trust me. He's determined that if he eats enough concrete, he's going to be back to 100%. And he popped a lot. So right now he says he can't stop, but I think it's just a whole ego thing. He's going to be patched up pretty quick. It's not bad, but it's an ego thing with him. You know what he's like.
Say there, champ. I don't think I've seen you around here before. Who are you?
Oh, I'm one of the new hires. I was actually from way back when. If you talk to some of the old guard, I mean, I'm excited now that we're getting to town. I was like, I got to sign back up with these guys
All right,
again.
it's going to be pretty great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The
Our own
best.
nation.
Exactly. It's about time. Mm-hmm. The Greywater Nation. Is that the title we're going with? I haven't heard the official name.
Oh, don't worry. It'll all be revealed when the commander gives his speech in about an hour.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. Where's the speech at? I got to make sure I'm there.
Oh, it'll be outside the new castle.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Great. Deception check, please. At disadvantage. He's so earnest. You can't help but want to tell him the truth.
11.
Okie dokie. Well, you guys have a great time.
Yeah, you too, Mr. Underbottom.
Wait a minute. No one calls me Underbottom. I insist on being called Chad. Mr. Underbottom's my father.
Oh, you. Sorry, I'm new. I don't know the bits.
Okay. And he just starts backing away while maintaining eye contact and smiling at you.
I give him a thumbs up.
Arms down by his side.
Yeah, exactly. His arms are not swaying. And
Thumbs
the
up.
carts roll in, and you can feel his eyes on you the whole way through.
Cool. I'm just going to keep waving at him. Why aren't you waving back?
Bye.
Okay, bye.
So you roll into town.
I was going to say, based on how that went, I think a few blocks in, I'm like, everybody get the fuck out.
We're probably going to get attacked by something.
So we're just going to unwheel the battle wagon. Like, fuck this whole thing. It got us into town, and then we can go on foot. Like, get rid of the shackles. We can keep the uniforms if they're accurate, but all the old uniforms fucking go for street clothes.
So you're ditching the carts just sort of the main road?
No, we're going to pull off into like a side alley or somewhere. Because, I mean, we have been here before. I imagine Quinny, having sneaked around a shitload during the trial, might know a place where we can just sort of get him undercover kind of thing. And then we're ditching him because if we got spotted, we can't fake that shit.
Yeah. And are you leaving the battle wagon in one? Or are you leaving the truck?
We can take the battle wagon. It's not recognized in these here parts. So I think we'll...
Unterducking it?
Yeah. Unless we feel like we could cover up that wagon to make it look like something else. Do you think we'd do something innocent?
Like maybe someone with a shop on wheels, like a wagon
can we do
for
that?
merchandise or
Quickly
something?
enough? Do you think we could do that?
Like a cobbler or something like that. Like,
Yeah. I go rip off a legitimate business and take like all their advertising and marketing material, and I bring it back to dress up our wagon.
Okay, great. So you're now a Shag Nasty's promotional wagon.
Perfect.
It says try our new remote locations, and it's got various locations around the world.
The remote version is called Porn Hut, and it's available for you to stream porno wherever you're
Well,
waiting.
this is the mobile version, so it's actually called the Shaggin' Wagon.
Well, this is a shagging wagon, but we're promoting Porn Hut, where you can watch through a screen what's happening in a real Shag Nasties.
Okay, great. All right. I'll allow it.
This episode of Dum Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our special guest, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum Dums and Dragons.